Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Second Cup. I'm your host, Tim Heller. Today, I'm joined by my friend Emily Jeanne Brown. Emily is an actor, musician, and embodied voice coach, and the founder of OnVoice Coaching and Consulting, where she works with clients on building a resilient foundation of support within themselves so they can release their most authentic, expressive, and impactful voices into the world. Top off your morning beverage, get comfy, and enjoy this episode of Second Cup. All right, so I'm really just not gonna do anything formal to introduce anybody yet. Okay. I'll probably go back and record it later, but we'll kind of see how it goes. But thank you again for joining me this morning, Emily. This is really, really fun. That I feel lucky that we've been able to chat twice in 2 weeks now.
I know. And, it's nice to reconnect with you, and I'm just really enjoying watching all the content that you're creating and the way that you're inhabiting the internet space. It feels inspiringly consistent and positive, and it's one of those things that I think people will just naturally gravitate toward, which is why I'm doing this here with you now. So
thank you so much
for that.
Thank you. That
and
really
cheers.
Genuinely means a lot.
Cheers.
Yes. All right, what is your mug? What is your mug? What's the story behind it, and what are you drinking?
Oh my gosh. Well, because I'm in my future parent-in-law's home, it's not a personal mug. It's the American Museum of Natural History, so I don't have a personal story with it, but it is a cool mug, and I like it because it's kind of tiny. Mm-hmm. And usually what happens for me when I drink coffee in a giant mug is that I don't finish it, and I end up drinking it cold, which I also don't mind, or I reheat it. But this is like a perfect little. I can handle this.
There's no like transition phase of the journey of drinking coffee. It's all one hot.
Right. But yes, I'm drinking coffee with a little 1%. Normally I would do half and half, but 1% is what they had. So we're making do.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
This is from Fido in Nashville. So shout out to Fido in Nashville. Whenever I travel, I like to, I used to collect beers from wherever I would go, but now that I don't drink anymore, I have started collecting coffee mugs. And I drink, this is 7 ounces of coffee, 1.5 ounces of espresso, and a little bit of oat milk.
Wow. So very scientifically measured.
Yeah, it's just whatever the coffee machine made. We got gifted a really fancy machine, and so I thought it would make me drink less caffeine, and now I'm like tripling down. But yeah, so this is my second cup of the day.
Wow. Do what you gotta do,
Yeah. So, I'd love to kick things off with just kind of how you got to where you are now with your business. I know that we worked together at Texas Shakespeare a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear just kind of a cliff notes on like what you've been up to since then and how you got the idea to start your business that you're now in.
Yeah, well, it's kind of cool that you say, since Texas, because that was actually the summer before I went to grad school. So following our season at Texas Shakes, I went straight out to San Francisco, where I started my MFA at American Conservatory Theater, which very sadly no longer exists as an MFA program.
You're kidding. I had no idea.
Yeah. They switched over executive leadership and also school leadership a little bit after I left. And then also with the pandemic, I think just financially, the building, they were trying to find a university partner and they weren't able to do that yet. So
wow.
I don't know if eventually they will revive it, but it is pretty tragic given that, the program was really started out of the mission of Bill Ball, who founded ACT. The reason why it's called American Conservatory Theater is because the theater was founded on the principle that actors should be in continuous training while also performing on stage. So it wasn't always an accredited MFA program, but there was always a component of professional training associated with the theater, and now there isn't that component anymore. So,
wow.
Yeah, so it's a little sad, but I had a great time there, particularly with one teacher, Jeff Crockett, who I consider to be a huge mentor in my life, in my creative work, but also specifically in regards to the coaching work that I do. He was one of the heads of Voice, and his background was in sort of a mixture of voice pedagogy and like Alexander technique. He studied with a woman named Ilse Middendorf, who created a breath embodiment practice. She's a German woman. And I think she created that particular breathwork practice not specifically related to actors or acting or performing, but more as a way of, kind of finding connection with the self and connection with other people. And Jeff kind of took her work and put it together with other types of breath work and voice work to kind of create his personal pedagogy, which was really about the things that stick with me to this day and show up in my work are the sense of connecting to the breath and connecting to the body and sensation as a way to establish a sense of safety and support in the body, which gives you a sense of autonomy, which, was a word that I had never really... I had heard the word, but I hadn't heard it used in that way particularly, and that's a big word that he uses a lot. The idea that you have the freedom and the facility to kind of behave and to act from a place of personal power and like personal support within yourself. And what that does is not to create a boundary between you and another person. Well, it does create a boundary in the sense of safety, but it doesn't create a boundary in the sense that because you feel more secure, you're then able to actually meet and greet your scene partner in the context of acting, or just another person in the context of any kind of communication, and be able to find flexibility and spontaneity with them because you are supported by that real sense of grounding and confidence within your own energy and your own space. And so following my work in the MFA program, I did showcase, I got an agent, I started auditioning, I moved back to New York where I had been before, and, was just hitting the ground running in terms of trying to kind of get the acting thing going, and did a play back in California, then came back to New York and did some not even off Broadway, just kind of independent projects with friends, Shakespeare, things in the city. And I also started to get really involved in music, and sort of all of that was happening.
Yeah, I want to talk about your music too, because you've got a lot going on.
Yeah. Anyway, all of that was happening, and then the pandemic hit, and it was kind of a moment to step back and kind of reassess what are these things that I love and care about, and what are the skills that I have as a professional human. What are the applications of these skills outside of just their traditional application on stage or in a rehearsal room? And that's sort of how my coaching business eventually was born.
I love that. I think that's that's something that I talk about a lot with fellow actor friends who are trying to figure out how to pivot in a constructive way. And I know from my own experience, for a while, I was feeling with my own health issues with my back and everything throughout the last 11 years, which thankfully no longer are a thing, but figuring out in that time period, how do I pivot and what kind of skills do I have that are transitive to a more quote unquote traditional workplace. And so the fact that you were able to identify this is not only a really valuable, healthy boundary to develop in order to connect with your scene partner, but to really apply it to a more corporate setting and however it is, or even if it's just communicating with a loved one. I think that's really special.
Yeah, and I'm still figuring out, it's still evolving, because I'm always riding that line between helping people skill build and then offering a practice that is about self-care and sort of wellness and feeling better, right? So it's I don't want to go fully into the wellness space, because I also care about the skill set and sort of helping people get better at what they want to get better at, which I hope is articulating their ideas, expressing themselves. Maybe it's more formally, like you said, in a corporate setting or with public speaking, but there is that component too of the mission underneath it for me, which is about helping people just have more access to their humanity, which is what acting for me was always about too. And so I'm trying to figure out.
Can you say that one more time just to drive that? You said that so beautifully. I want to hear it again and everybody else to hear it again.
Yeah. I hope I remember what I said. So I think the mission underneath all of what I'm doing, which includes skill building to become a more effective communicator, is also giving people more access to their own humanity, which feels
yes,
like
ma'am.
right. It's that's going to be a beneficial thing in any professional setting. I believe, that's my values.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think sometimes can be it's about building a new paradigm and a new kind of work culture, I think. And I think coming out of the pandemic, that makes a lot of sense. And so I'm trying to kind of find where is that inroad for me in that process as we all move through this crazy time together.
That's awesome. That's so freaking cool. And you have a workshop coming up next week, which I'm going to make sure that all of this is edited and we can at least get out some clips to people before then so that they can hear about this before your workshop on Sunday. But tell me a little bit more about that and kind of and your partner in crime for that and where people can find out more information.
Yeah, so the workshop is called Meeting the Moment. And my colleague is Eve Marie Mugar, who's actually someone that I went to college with and who I also studied abroad doing theater in London with. So we have that theater connection. But she ended up kind of branching off and ended up getting her master's in social work. She's a therapist and she's also a yoga teacher and mindfulness coach. So she kind of inhabits that wellness life skills branch of the material, and I inhabit the more sort of like, we talk about it like she covers the sort of inner life part of it, and I cover the how do you translate the inner life to the outside through the voice. So together we're working with people in our workshop on confident interpersonal communication, and the way we're doing that is by giving people the opportunity to try out different communication scenarios with partners and in groups, and then offering mindfulness and embodiment techniques to help people feel more grounded, more confident, so that they can communicate with a little bit more ease and fluidity.
Wow. So it is the whole package that you are working on in this workshop. So when is it? How long is it? What is it all going to look like for people that sign up?
Yeah, so it's happening August 7th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in New York City at a place called Culture Lab, which is in Long Island City, Queens. And they can sign up by, I guess people can sign up by going to my website. If you go to the coaching page on my website, there's a link there. I can also give you like the direct link to where people can purchase.
Yeah, I'll post the direct link with everything in the posts that I make. And and what is your website, just so that people who are listening can check you out, and when they inevitably hear this and are like, wow, this sounds like something that I need or that I need for my team to experience.
So my website is my name, EmilyJeanneBrown.com, and Jeanne is Jeanne. And then from there, from that homepage, you can go onto an acting page, a music page, and a coaching page. So the coaching website has a / and then coaching, I believe. Or maybe it's, I should know this. EmilyJeanneBrown.com /OnVoice. I think it's /OnVoice.
OnVoice.
Yeah.
And where can people find you on social media?
Social media, you can find me at OnVoice _ or at Emily Jeanne Brown for my artist page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Emily, thank you so much. This is, like I said, this is going to be like quick and dirty, and I can't believe it's already been like almost 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I would love to wrap up with a couple quick fire questions for you. There's nothing gotcha, but it's just like breathe into it. And I just want to hear what's off the top of your head. First question.
Embodiment skills to respond.
Yes. All the OnVoice technique right here, right now, live on the air. Okay. First question. Who inspires you right now?
Joni Mitchell coming back to Newport Folk Festival after 30 years, or no, more than 30 years, 40 years, singing live on stage after having a brain aneurysm and playing guitar.
Yeah, that's pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
Okay, second question. You may have already answered this. A piece of content or an artist that you're devouring right now? Piece of content can be a book, a podcast, a movie, TV series, whatever you want it to be.
I am into week 1 of The Artist's Way, and I've tried it a couple times before by Julia Cameron. Are you familiar with it?
Okay. I have heard of it, but I have not dove into it yet.
Yeah. So this is the first time that I'm doing it with my partner, and we're gonna do it all the way. So Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
Awesome. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Neither. But I want to be an early. I'm not naturally either one, to be quite honest, but I work better in the morning. So I'm working on my morning routine.
Great.
Yeah.
Last question. You can only have pizza one more time. Where from and what's on it?
Oh, Well, I guess the first thing that comes to my head is Polly G's, which is a Italian style, like Napolitana style pizza, and they have, I don't know exactly what the pizza is, but it's like some kind of sausage and like arugula, and they have this Mike's Hot Honey that's like a spicy hot honey with a really thin blackened like wood-fired crust. So I'm going to go with that for my rapid fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Pretty
Those
tasty.
were excellent rapid fire answers. Also, Mike's Hot Honey is freaking everywhere right now.
Yeah,
It seems like
I don't know if that happened after the the partnership with Polly G's, because I feel like they sort of claimed it, but maybe I don't know. Maybe they were already big, but it's a delicious
I know.
product.
By the way, they're pretty hot
They're pretty
right now.
hot. Very hot. Hot and spicy.
Well, Emily, thank you. Oh, yes, spicy. Emily, thank you so much for doing this on our pilot episode of whatever the heck this is going to turn into.
Yeah.
But this was so much fun to get an excuse to talk to you again and learn more. And again, everybody check out her website and social media and be sure to register for the event on August 7th in LIC.
And
Emily, cheers to you.
Yeah, make sure to let people know that if they're in New York, it's going to be in person. I think that gets confusing sometimes because we've done online events. So people who are in New York,
for sure,
come out to Long Island City and join us.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Emily, thank you so much. I will talk to you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you so much for listening all the way through the very first episode of Second Cup, featuring our very special guest, Emily Jeanne Brown. Follow Emily on social media at Emily Jeanne Brown, that's EMILYJEANNE Brown, to hear more of her original music and other artistic endeavors. To book her for an OnVoice consultation, follow her business page at OnVoice_. That's ONVOICE_. This show is recorded and produced by Tim Heller Creative, LLC. If you're a small or large business and would like to sponsor the show, reach out to Tim at timhellercreative.com and we can chat to see if we're a good fit. Tune in next week for another incredible conversation and another wonderful cup of coffee.